I've been kind of playing with my lighting a little bit to see. Hey babes, I'm just giving it a second. Okay, so I wanted to do this video because about clean beauty. I've already done a video about clean beauty. Well, first, let me actually introduce myself. I'm Shantae, and I am a wellness creator, a wellness coach, and I share my journey with fibroids here on YouTube, and I have a blog as well, and I'm on all the other platforms. But I share my journey with fibroids, I share my wellness journey, I share tips, tricks, ways to be healthier, ways to have more balanced hormones. And so this month, I am doing a video every day up until Christmas where I am talking about how you can have better hormones or healthier hormones. And so a lot of times when we think about hormones, we don't really think about um, like our skincare and personal care and makeup and all of that stuff. But your skin is actually the largest organ that you have, right? And so, and it absorbs whatever is on it, whatever it comes near, whatever it's been sitting on it. So one thing that I have been seeing a lot, and I think it's just the algorithm being messy, especially over there on TikTok, I have been coming across these videos where people are saying, oh, clean beauty is a scam, blah, blah, blah. And I want to share some of my observations about that today and some of my thoughts on that and why I think it is extremely important for everybody. I was going to say for women, but really everybody, but especially those of us who are kind of struggling with our health or who are trying to get our bodies on the up and up, how important it is that we consider switching to products that are clean. Now, technically, clean doesn't have a definition, right? It doesn't actually have like this standard definition. So that's one of the things that makes it really hard. Sorry, let me turn my chat on so I can see if any questions pop up. But clean beauty doesn't really have a hard definition that's recognized across countries, that's recognized across any kind of government, right? So the issue with clean beauty, and I do acknowledge that there are a lot of issues. One of the big issues is that there's not really a standard definition, right? However, there are a lot of brands who have come up with their own standard, who have spelled out what it means for them to bring us clean beauty products. And so for me, my personal definition of clean beauty products are products that that don't contain any hormone disruptors or endocrine disruptors, or items that mimic our hormones, that don't contain any potentially cancer causing materials, anything like that. Nothing that over a long period of time is going to harm us. Now, mind you, we do come in contact with so many external um, chemicals and toxins and things. So I just kind of feel like switching to cleaner, non-toxic beauty products is going to be helpful in reducing some of that for us, because you get to choose that. There are a lot of things that we come in contact with on a daily basis that we don't get to choose, but you can choose what you put on your skin, what you put on your body, all that jazz. You get to choose that, right? And so since I'm talking about clean beauty, I'm gonna actually do my makeup for today while I do this video. And no, this brow pencil is not technically a clean beauty brow pencil. Um, it's the one by NYX. And honestly, it's just been the best one that I've found so far. So if y'all do have recommendations for a clean beauty brow pencil, let me know. But I actually think this one didn't have, it had a pretty good rating when I went to the environmental working groups website. So one of the things that I have noticed about the people who are talking about clean beauty are saying that clean beauty is a scam, is that they do not look like me. So, and what I mean by that is we are not the same complexion, we're not the same race, right? So my issue with that is I don't think people are aware of how many products have been, how many products or brands have targeted Black people. I don't think people realize that how many brands who had class action suits because they have knowingly, like, think about that. These brands knew that their products had these harmful substances or chemicals in them, and they still knowingly produce these products, right? And not only did some of these brands produce these products, but they specifically marketed them towards Black people. So sometimes when I'm hearing people's arguments against clean beauty, I kind of feel like that's almost a privileged stance to have, right? Because statistically speaking, I can't even remember I'll have to find the statistic so I can post it on here. I think I actually did another video where I mentioned the statistic, but statistically speaking, products made for Black women specifically have more chemicals, more harmful substances, more endocrine disruptors in them. So that is concerning. So sometimes when I'm watching these videos and people are like, yeah, it's a scam and, we need all these chemicals so that our products can be more stable. I'm not disagreeing that we want stable products that don't have bacteria and fungus, because that's one of the arguments, is that by removing some of these chemicals, your products are less shelf stable. I understand that. But in this day and age, so many companies have managed to make shelf stable products, without some of these chemicals in it, right? So I understand that, but also I feel like you're coming from a place of privilege when you get to say, because you're coming from a place of privilege because your products aren't as bad as the products that are being marketed and created for me and people that look like me. So that's one of my issues with this whole argument against it. And I'm just going to say, I personally feel like specifically Black people, Black women, we need to be very, very, very mindful of the products that we're consuming, we're putting on our bodies and giving our families, right? And it does take time. It does take research. That's one of the things that I've really kind of enjoyed or leaned into in this process of switching to better products, just not even just in my skincare and my makeup, but also even in, the clothes that I'm wearing, the furniture that I'm buying, all of that stuff, just taking my time and being more mindful about that. I'm going to do a little under eye concealer here. This is the one by Kosas. I never know if I'm saying that right. I need to go look it up. This is my absolute favorite concealer. I have not tried anything that I like nearly as much as this. And the color that I'm using is 8.7N. So they use their color formulas have like neutral, warm, cool. And so this one is more neutral, or has a more neutral undertone to it. Let me check these comments here, because it's like my chat keeps disappearing. So yeah, I understand this whole idea that, yeah, some brands are using clean beauty as a way to make more money, and they don't really, like, you can tell the difference between brands that are, it's all about marketing, and then you have the brands where they have a whole brand philosophy around their ethics and what they stand for as a brand. And so I will say, when you are switching to clean beauty, when you are trying to find more non-toxic products, one good, easier way to kind of weed out which brands are better to use is, like, what is that brand built on or based on? I'm not going to say every time it's going to get you a great product, but, you know, that's one way to kind of weed out or weed through what brands are actually clean, right? So another issue with clean beauty too is, because there's no regulation, some brands do use fragrance. And so for a lot of brands who have very stricter, who have much stricter standards, they don't use fragrance in any of their products. I try not to buy things with fragrance in it. You know, from time to time, I just have to sometimes, you know, depending on what the product is. But one thing that does is, when they put that fragrance on that label, there's a law that allows them to put fragrance on the label, and they don't have to disclose what exactly that fragrance is or where it comes from, because fragrance is considered like a proprietary blend or ingredient or whatever. So they don't actually have to disclose what it is, and it could literally be one or several of thousands of different chemicals, you know, that you actually don't really want to be putting on your body, or that might be sensitizing, or that might be, you know, not great for you. So that is one of the issues that I acknowledge that there is. Okay, y'all, I also have this Beauty Counter Skin Twin Foundation. Now, Beauty Counter went out of business, I think, but then now I think they're back. So I haven't bought anything. I think they have a new name now. I think it's just called Counter now. So if you're not familiar with Beauty Counter, because I don't even know like what they're doing now, but they have a really strict standard for their products. And so I was a affiliate with them. I would promote their products, and so I bought several things, but I'm about to run out of this foundation. I'm probably literally on my last couple squirts, but this is really great, but I'm gonna have to replace it with something else. I like it. Literally looks like your skin, and it is super lightweight. So I love that finish. Okay, but back to this clean beauty thing. And maybe I'll actually just share with you some ways that you can make the switch, some things to look out for. So one of the biggest things to look out for is if you get something and it says clean, because I know Sephora does it. They'll have like the clean at Sephora emblem or logo or whatever on the brands that they consider clean. But the only problem is you still have to check the label, because some of those brands, quite a few of them, actually still have fragrance in them. So sometimes what I'll do is if I'm shopping online, I will filter out the ingredients that I don't want. Like most stores, if you're shopping online, it'll actually let you filter out like added fragrance or parabens or anything like that. It'll let you filter out those ingredients. And when I post this, I'm actually going to post, I have a blog post that I talk about all the ingredients to look out for. And I think it's actually a download in that blog post, if I'm not mistaken, where you can see the list of ingredients to avoid. And I even give some tips for how to switch there, but I'm going to share a couple with you that have been super helpful for me. So my first tip is do not throw away everything you already have. And the reason for that is just because a brand isn't labeled a clean beauty brand, that does not mean that their product is toxic or harmful, right? Or that it has any of those nasty ingredients in them. So one thing that I've done is, or when I first started this, I just replaced everything one by one. So I went and I used the Environmental Working Groups app. I downloaded that, or you can do it on the desktop. But I downloaded that and I scanned everything that I already had, right? Because it's no need of replacing stuff that doesn't need to be replaced. Now, I still ended up replacing almost everything, but you know, it is what it is. I still, I was able to keep a few things, but at this point, I've probably replaced 90% of my makeup. So once you do that, oh, I forgot to put on primer, y'all. I will use this. I go back and forth between this Milk Pore Refining Primer and the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. I actually like both. But today I'm not going to worry about it. It is what it is. I forgot to put this on, but if it's like a really, really long day, I'll use this because I just tend to get more oily. If it's a shorter day or I don't need my makeup to stay fully intact, I'll use the Hydro Grip. And that's just because for me, since I'm already, I don't really need hydration. So sometimes the Hydro Grip, I'm just a bit more shiny after using that primer. But back to the tips. So go ahead, keep what you have at first, scan everything that you have, or look it up on the Environmental Working Group's Skin Deep database. So after you have done that, you can determine what you're going to keep and what you're not going to keep. Then you can make a list of the stuff that you need to replace. And I would prioritize that list by what I'm about to run out of the soonest. So I would do like the soonest thing is the thing that I need to replace first, all the way down to, the thing that maybe you just bought and you don't want to return it, or maybe it's out of the return window. So go ahead, make that list. And literally anytime any store has a sale on a certain brand that might be on your list or that you might be eyeing, because you're going to have to research every item. So you're going to have to research every item. If you need some help with that, just reach out to me. You can message me here or comment below. And I can give you some recommendations for products that I enjoy because I've tried quite a bit of stuff. One thing I do notice is that I typically buy the same brands over and over again just because when it comes to clean beauty, I'm not going to lie to you, some of the products, the performance is just not there. And so like my eyeliner, when I do wear eyeliner, I use a conventional eyeliner, and it's just because they perform better than the clean ones that I've used. But as far as like my face and even some of my eye makeup, it hasn't been as hard to find the cleaner beauty products. So you're going to make your list. You're going to prioritize it by what you're about to run out of first, or you can prioritize it by least expensive to most expensive. however you want to do that. And this is the Kosas, probably can't even see that anymore. It's the Kosas powder that I'm just using to finish off here. Sometimes I will also finish with the, so Milk has a pore refining spray that's kind of like the companion to this, like a finishing spray. And so sometimes I'll use that, but I'm not using that today. But after you've made your list, you've done your research, some ways that I get what I need for cheaper or less, or keep my budget intact when I'm shopping for cleaner beauty products, because some of them really are more expensive. It just is what it is. So what I will do is I will wait until that. I try to pay attention to when brands do sales. I actually have a whole nother email address that I use for all my beauty and clothing stuff. And so that's where I check for sales periodically on different things that I've been eyeing. Also, I will say a lot of these brands do more sales on their site than, like, say, for example, Kosas. It's, of course, they have their own brand site where you can shop there. And then they have another, and then they're on Sephora, right? Sometimes I find that Kosas, the site itself, does more sales than Sephora does. So keep that in mind. I recommend, if you found a brand that you like, go ahead, or that you want to try or whatever, go ahead and subscribe to their email list. Like I said, I have a whole separate email address for that. Subscribe to their email list, and then, when you get that sale notification, you can go ahead and buy that product. Another thing that I suggest doing is, if there's a product that you want to try, I highly recommend going ahead and trying it in store if you can, because you don't want to have to return it. You want to find what works for you. And so I kind of find sometimes I will literally just go in Sephora and try things that I've been eyeing, just to see if it's worth it for me to buy it. And I've saved so much money that way, because sometimes there are products that look good, especially when you do a lot of online shopping. They look good, but then, especially with me having a darker complexion, they don't actually look good when I put them on, in the store or whatever. So always do that. And I'm using this lip liner. This doesn't have a lot of color for me, just because my top lip is already darker. But I need a little definition. And this is the Straight Living lip liner by the Lip Bar. Now, I don't think the Lip Bar is technically considered clean, but I do know that their products are vegan. They care about what goes into their product. So I feel comfortable using this. Also, something to keep in mind is that a lot of brands, clean or not, like lipsticks, are very hard to find clean. Especially if you are like me, you're darker. So you need a little bit more pigment, or you like more color on your lips. It might be harder to find. Now this lip is First Lady. It's one of my favorite lip glosses. And I'm going to do just a little bit of highlighter. So one thing I forgot to mention is that when you are looking for powders, always try to look for a talc-free powder. Talc. However you say it. Try to look for a talc-free powder. Because I just recently saw something about people saying that, or now brands don't have to disclose that they have talc in them or something like that. So talc has been known to be contaminated with asbestos, and also, you know, if you breathe it in, it can be damaging to your lungs, all that jazz. So I think they've changed the regulations about whether brands have to disclose that. I have to go back and look more into it. But that's one of the reasons that I like Kosas powder, and I like this particular blush. I wasn't crazy about the other blush colors. They didn't really do that well on me, but this one was nice. And this one is Adrenaline. So you do want to look for powders that are talc free, and I'm not gonna lie to you, they are so hard to find. And then I have this really pretty highlighter. It's called is it called Carrot Country? Like Karat. And it's got a nice little glow. I really hate that I cannot figure out how to get my back camera set up, because I feel like y'all can't really see this makeup the way that it actually looks in person. Like it looks so good. This looks so good. But y'all, I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna get my back camera set up good. But yes, always look for the talc-free powders. There are not a ton of them out there, because I'll be looking. Sephora does have this. Also, this is actually on clearance right now. The last time I checked, which was like 2 days ago, I saw this on clearance. So it was, and when I got it, it was on sale or clearance or something. So I will link this too, because yeah, if y'all want this, you need it. But okay, guys, I just wanted to yap a little bit, talk a little bit about clean beauty, why it's important to me, why I do think everybody should be working to use cleaner, non-toxic skincare and makeup. Like I said, your skin is your largest organ. It does absorb what you put in it. And we can't control everything else that we come in contact with, but that's one thing that we actually have control over. So let me know in the comments if you have started your journey with switching to clean beauty. Let me know if I'm trying to figure out some kind of, I don't know, like a guide or something that I can put together to make it easier. That's going to have your product recommendations and all that. Let me know in the comments if that's something that you would be interested in. But I gotta finish getting dressed, because I got a lot left to do today. And thank y'all so much for watching. Like this video, subscribe, share, do all the things so that my videos can reach more people. All right, y'all. I will catch y'all tomorrow.